Hello, Carl Monson here with the Portugal news and weather this morning, the 6th of July 2023. And let's get into it with the news that President Marcelo is in hospital after passing out. This from the Portugal resident this morning. And we'll be here with you for 10 or 15 minutes with news headlines and the weather as well. Portuguese President of the Republic, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, was rushed to hospital yesterday after passing out. He went to the Santa Cruz Hospital in Carnaggide after passing out during a visit this afternoon. That was reported yesterday, 5th of July, by Michael Brujo at the Portugal resident, after passing out during a visit to the Science and Technology faculty at Caparica. The official statement provided by the Presidency of the Republic at around 3:45 was that the President of the Republic felt unwell after a visit to the Faculty of Sciences of the new University of Lisbon and went to the hospital de Santa Cruz as a precautionary measure. Marcelo, who allegedly had a light lunch, experienced hypovolemia and displayed dizziness, nausea, and extreme fatigue, reports Correio de Manhã, the tabloid paper. Prime Minister Antonio Costa revealed that he's already spoken with Marcelo and expressed hope that everything was just a scare. There's no point in asking the President of the Republic to slow down. It's not in his nature, said the PM. Let's go to the Portugal resident and, of course, wish the President of the Republic well, Marcelo there. Let's see what else is on the front page of the Portugal resident. PM awaits final report on TAP to assess political fallout. Lithium mining concession terminates contract with local associations. The ongoing controversy of lithium mining here in Portugal, of course. Dock workers strike against alleged rights violations, and house prices in Portugal show sixth largest year-on-year increase in the EU. And doctors strike, consultations and surgeries cancelled as of yesterday, the 5th of July. Briefly, 12 people arrested for drug trafficking during the Afro Nation. That, I believe, is a music festival. Elderly man seriously injured after being hit by a car in Faro. New law limits a maximum fine for non-payment of motorway tolls, for those concerned about that. And an alarming number of dead porpoises wash up between Caminha and Peniche. Good news, a nice little news story. The Portuguese engineer who came second in the EU inventors competition, perhaps in the spirit of Jaime Philippe, who we reported on the Good Morning Portugal show. Interestingly, she is Philippa. We were reporting on the inspirational work of Jaime Philippe, a legendary Portuguese inventor, and here she is carrying on that spirit of Jaime, and she herself is called Philippa. Philippa Rocha, 27-year-old computer engineer who came second in the Young Inventors category of the European Inventor Award 2023. So well done to Philippa Rocha there. Let's go and have a look over at the Portugal news this morning, and we'll finish with the weather this morning. Okay, over on the Portugal news then, let's have a look at their leading stories this morning. Hope you're well today. Tudo bem? Como estás? Portugal with sixth highest increase in house prices, resonating the earlier story there on the Portugal resident. And Portugal, of course, ranked best country to retire to. I believe if it's the same survey, there are a lot of these. If it's the same survey, we had a look at that on the morning show just recently, didn't we? Ronaldo's new mansion, a year behind schedule. We certainly had a look at that yesterday. That naked man on the sofa there, if you can just make that out, is Cristiano Ronaldo, also known as Pharaoh Ronaldo by some of his neighbours who aren't entirely happy with some of the building work that's gone on in Cascais in his new mansion, which they say resembles a hospital, such as the scale of the building and the length of the project, in fact. Hotel reservations in Portugal up by 22.72%. And interesting story here. July the 3rd, hottest day ever. Not in Portugal, but on the planet. Let's have a look at that. The average daily air temperature on the planet's surface on July the 3rd was measured at 17.01 degrees centigrade. Monday was the hottest ever measured in world terms, surpassing the average bar of 17 degrees centigrade. So up by 0.1 degrees centigrade for the first time, according to the first measurements made by a North American agency. The average daily air temperature on the planet's surface on July the 3rd was measured at 17.01 degrees centigrade, by a service dependent on the US Agency for Atmosphere and Oceans, NOAA for short, NOAA. This value surpasses the previous daily record of 16.92, set on July the 24th, 2022, according to data from NOAA's National Environmental Prediction Centers, which date all the way back to 1979. The air temperature, which fluctuates between about 12 degrees and 17 degrees in terms of daily average throughout the year, was 16.20 degrees centigrade in early July between 1979 and 2000. This record, which has yet to be corroborated by other measurements, can be quickly overcome when the northern hemisphere begins the summer season and the average world temperature continues to rise as a rule until the end of July and the beginning of August. So there you go. That's in the Portugal news there. Let's go back to their front page, see what else is going on, as well as Ronaldo sitting on his... I don't think that is his sofa in Cascais. He looks like he's on an ocean liner there, or maybe he's at one of his other homes in Madeira, his native Madeira. PM wants Portugal at forefront of ocean research. That's just come in 1 minute ago at the Portugal news. Portugal airport strikes planned for July and August. Be careful if you're traveling this summer to Portugal. The police very kindly, as well as I think increasing and being incentivized to give fines to people, have also very kindly listed speed radar locations in Portugal. You can find that at the Portugal news. There's an article, a news piece about the variation in property prices across the country and 100 million to be invested in Lisboa. They're also covering the president being in hospital. Certainly yesterday, perhaps he's still there as well. And as I say, wish him well. 20% of students are in private education. I'm not sure what that, if you dig deeper, what that actually means over in the Portugal news. This may be of interest. No holiday rental AL licenses to be withdrawn. The Minister of the Economy and Sea has assured that no local accommodation AL license will be withdrawn and that they will only be suspended in high-density territories. All the hoo-ha and furore when it came to the Mais Habitation political posturing and it being used as a political football, being booted up and down the pitch, has come to this, it would appear, as mention of the golden visa in this news item as well from the Portugal news. No local accommodation license will be withdrawn from anyone. They will be suspended for new local accommodation only in high-density territories, guaranteed Antonio Costa Silva in the Parliamentary Committee on Economy, Public Works, Planning and Housing. In low-density areas, which include 165 municipalities and around 70 parishes, the AL will continue to develop. The Minister of Economy also highlighted that the municipalities will have a more active role, local government, good, underlining that there has to be a balance between housing, local accommodation, industry and commerce. The discussion, the discussion will continue and we will see if in the end we have a balanced package. Who doesn't like a balanced package first thing in the morning? Thank you very much, Antonio Costa Silva there. On the golden visas, with regard to the subject of golden visas, Senor Silva noted that those that already exist and meet the requirements will continue. He stated that the country is open to investment. I think he must have been hearing that this had sent a little bit of a shockwave of doubt around the world of global investment. He stated that the country is open to investment, namely foreign, thus emphasizing there must be mechanisms to attract the same investment. Costa Silva recalled that the process of resident permit for investment activity, the official name of the golden visa, of course, the ARI, will end and that the authorizations within the general regime will continue. And the PCF continues, or concludes anyway, with a quote from him. I think that at the end of this whole discussion, we will have a balanced and more consensual solution to allow the development of the entire economy, he concluded. Typical kind of political statement, I think you'll agree, but certainly a nod in the right direction and calming some of that blow to confidence and all the furore around that. Comments, we like the comments in the Portugal news. Appalling, the whole country has been prostituted in a characterless Disneyland of hotel bedrooms. As ever, the special interests with their fingers in the tills have won. And that's James in the Algarve, who I noticed yesterday was commenting that he thought that dogs that defecate on beaches which I think was his response to another. It must have been because it was a Portugal News comment. He thought dogs caught, I believe, on defecating on Portugal beaches should be seized and destroyed. Yes, you do get some rather agitated and emotional responses when it comes to the comments on the Portugal News. Let's have a quick look then before we go to the weather to see if there's anything else we'd like to have a look at here on the Portugal News page. Is the heat wave in Portugal here to stay alongside the airport strikes planned for July and August? I think that'll be it. There was an interesting feature. This is one, I think, one of those paid for. The art of communication. Don't talk unless you can improve the silence, says Jorge Luis Borges in Health for the New Age. I'm going to click on that and stick it in a tab to look at myself later. It's almost a bit of a comment aimed at me, it feels like. If I can't improve on the silence, don't. So I'll conclude now with the weather in that case. Deagle's in the chat, which is great to see. Haven't seen you for a while. Your weather report from Belfast is dull, damp, 15 degrees, and it's going to be wet until Sunday. Then warm up to a dry, sunny 20 degrees. A few weeks lurking, watching the afternoon and evening, says Deagle. We have missed you, Deagle. And do stay in touch with that link that I've put into the chat there for our school community. Things now, the new normal living life after Kathy's daddy passed the start of June. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear about that bereavement in your family there, Deagle. And is anyone going to join the new social media platform Thread? I think I'll give it a go. It's connected to Instagram. I will just ignore it like Facebook. I know you're a Twitter man, Deagle. So that promised weather then. Let's go to our weather page at goodmorningportugal.com, as you can see on the screen there, where you can, of course, take advantage of our free 24 courses and collections, as well as the extras for the GMP VIPs there. Weather brought to you by Dynasty Homes here in Portugal. Check them out, Dynasty Homes. Google them and check out their fine portfolio of properties here in Portugal. As the weather for Lisbon loads onto the screen now with 19 degrees. It's cloudy in the capital at the moment with a high expected today of 27 degrees and currently 19. That's in Fahrenheit. It's 66 degrees, rising to 79 today. Looking like a sunny day today and tomorrow. In Porto, 17 degrees at the moment. Overcast with clouds rising to 21. In Coimbra, we're looking at 29 the high. That's very comfortable, isn't it? If a little bit on the hot side for some people. 18 degrees with a few clouds at the moment. 27 the high in Faro today. 21 degrees currently with a clear sky. Beautiful start to the day in the Algarve. And in Braga, going up to the north, 28 the high today. A couple of cloudy days to come with a little bit of rain on Saturday. Currently 16 degrees with a few clouds. That's the weather there, brought to you by Dynasty Homes. And that has been the Portugal news and weather update with me. A slightly shorter program. We will, of course, be on with our full length and fully featured Good Morning Portugal program at around 8:30 this morning, featuring this morning, of course, Fabrizio and Ian in Lisbon and Alison Sheldrake, talking of the Algarve as we'll be previewing the new edition, the July edition of Snapshot, the magazine that she creates with husband Dave. And we'll be finding out about our charity rounders match that's happening in Caldas de Rainha, I think on the 16th of July. Find out the exact date when Rebecca joins me to talk about that before 9 o'clock on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. So perhaps see you there later on. And I think we might try this again. Enjoyed that. So do give us your feedback in the comments. And don't forget to stay in touch at www.goodmorningportugal.com.